This video is for standard FIFC, matching tables to graphs and equations, linear, quadratic, exponential, and absolute value. This video will focus on tables. The graph of a linear function is a straight line. To find if a table is a linear function, the first difference is constant. The first difference means we're looking at our y's to see how they're changing. In this table, to go from 3 to 11, we're adding 8. To go from 11 to 19, add 8. 19 to 27, add 8. 27 to 35, add 8. Since all of the differences are adding 8, that means the first difference is constant, and this is linear. The graph of a quadratic function is a parabola. To tell if a table is a parabola and a quadratic function, you look at the second difference. So we're going to do our first differences first. To get from 1 to 4 is adding 3. 4 to 9 is adding 5. 9 to 16 is adding 7. 16 to 25 is adding 9. Our first differences do not match, so this is not linear. Let's look at the second differences. 3 to 5 is adding 2. 5 to 7 is adding 2. 7 to 9 is adding 2. Since our second differences are constant, this is a quadratic function. Exponential functions. The graph of an exponential function has one horizontal asymptote. To tell if a table is an exponential function, the first ratio needs to be constant. The first ratio is what we are multiplying by. To get from -1 to -6, we multiply by 6. To get from -6 to -36, we multiply by 6. To get from -36 to -216, we multiply by 6. Since all of it is multiplying by 6, the first ratio is constant, and this is an exponential function. Here's an example when we don't know if it's linear, quadratic, or exponential. So you have to check all three. I recommend checking them in that order: linear, quadratic, exponential. To see if it's linear, we're going to look at the first difference. To get from 5 to 15, we add 10. To get from 15 to 45, we add 30. To get from 135 to 45, we add 90. Since these do not match, it's not linear. Now we will check our second differences. To get from 10 to 30, we add 20. To get from 30 to 90, we add 60. These still do not match. So now we need to ask ourselves, is there something we could multiply by that would work? To get from 5 to 15, we multiply by 3. To get from 15 to 45, we multiply by 3. And to get from 45 to 135, we multiply by 3. Since all of it is multiplying by 3, our first ratio is constant, and we have an exponential table and an exponential function. That is the end of this video. You may move on and complete the practice.